his magic.
And it's complete for the touchdown. Chrebet, the rookie from Boomer. He grew up in Garfield, New Jersey, 10 minutes from Giant Stadium.
But short of a first down, Chrebet was able to work free. What a move by Wayne Chrebet.
Absolutely unbelievable. You're talking about a kid who is just all heart.
Welcome to the Underdog Jets podcast with Wayne Chrebet and Robbie Sabo. Everyone, welcome. This is the Underdog Jets podcast, Wayne Chrebet meet and greet, where we'll get Jets X Factor subscribers, to the party, joining us, asking questions, and we had a lineup scheduled. Unfortunately, 2 people dropped out because of work. What can you do? We'll get them in the next one. But we have a good handful of people here today, and we'll go around the horn. Wayne, thank you for doing this. This was Wayne's idea too. As much as he can communicate with the fans, he always wants to do is what he's always told me. So we'll start with Mike. Mike is a huge Jets fan, big on social media. Yes, sort of a funny social media Twitter account, it provides a lot of levity. So Mike, take it away.
Wayne Chrebet, thank you for the memories. It's an honor to be here in this Uber talking Jets football. Yeah.
What hat you wearing?
What hat? I got a Mets World Series 2015 hat on. Unfortunately, not my Jets hat.
I saw Champions I saw Champions in New York, and I was like, it's been a while.
But it had to be an old hat. So Wayne, speaking of championship Jet teams, I think the 2 closest teams to winning a championship in New York in the last 30 or so years are the 98 Jets and the 2010 Jets. In a neutral field, in a playoff game, who do you have? Your 98 Jets or the 2010 Jets?
The 98 Jets. I mean, I know I'm biased, but we were built to be a championship team with the veterans that Bill brought in, the young guys. We were strong across the board, every position. There really was no weakness. It just didn't work out in Denver. Obviously the lead, but if we win that game in Denver, I think we're the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl because we beat Atlanta pretty bad during the year.
That's what my dad tells me every time I bring this up to him. You guys would have beat the shit out of the Falcons. But.
Yeah, we beat them earlier. But as far as the 2010 team, I don't know exactly what the roster was, but it's just different. We had some old cats that Bill brought in that played well. And what happened? We had a couple guys fumble that never fumbled in their career, like Keith Myers and Alex Van Dyke, and 2 kickoff returns hit the ground that they recovered. So once the floodgates opened, we couldn't stop them.
Yeah, it was one of those weird games. It was one of those weird games where Jason Elam's kickoffs, it just hit the ground, went straight up into the sky. Byers fumbled, a bunch of second half fumbles.
Yeah. And the Bills had Jason Elam last week. They probably would have won that game.
Yeah. And the 2010 team was really good too, but Testaverde versus Sanchez.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you compare those two?
Who, Testaverde and Sanchez?
Yeah, you can't compare those two.
You can't. You can't. The way the groove Testaverde was in that season, 98, didn't even start as the starter. He was just he never played better, and we knew he had the talent too. Tampa, first overall pick. He always had the talent. So once it came together under Parcells, can't even compare the two.
Yeah. He was good with the Ravens, made the Pro Bowl before he came to us. So he played 20 years. You can't compare the two, but I don't know. Side by side, I think we win at every position.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Good question. I think I agree. 98 as well. That year was just perfect. And then 99 too would have been perfect too. But
if Bill stayed around another year or two, I think we would make it happen. But him leaving kind of hurt. 99, Vinny tears his Achilles, and I broke my foot in the last preseason game. I went in motion. I turned upfield and just broke my foot. It just snapped. So I missed the first 4 games. Vinny got hurt in the first game, and then kind of season went to crap after that.
Yeah, Ray Lucas did an earnest job. He did a pretty good job, and Bill coached well too. But the early hole just did you guys in.
Yeah.
All right, Liz, Wayne. This is Liz, who was the Jets fan of the year. You actually met her once already. In the fall, and we're gonna get Liz in here now too, because as you can tell, she's at work right now. So Liz, take it away.
Hi, Wayne.
How are you, Liz?
I'm awesome now. How could I be back? I'm talking to you.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I know. Well, I plan on seeing you in 2 weeks, February 6th on a Sunday in Poughkeepsie. I'm going to come up to that signing that you have going on. So I can't wait.
Look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you too. My question for you, besides what have you been doing since October the 8th when you made my life complete by presenting me with the Fan of the Year? I wanted to ask you, since you are the greatest wide receiver on the Jets of all time, do Crowder and Mims ever pull you aside and say, look, what can I do? Like, got any advice for me? What do you think of this? And how do you think I did last game? Like, do they ever come up to you and
I don't know those guys. Never met them. I mean, briefly just at training camp with Crowder to say what's up, nothing like that. But no, I haven't been around because of COVID. So I wasn't open to practice, like even training camp, going on the sideline and stuff like that. So it's tough. But with Berrios, a lot of people go comparing some of what he does to what I did. So I posted on social media, congrats on a great year, making all pro kickoff returner. And he just commented, thank you so much. And thank you for all you did for the organization. So he's a nice kid. I look forward to meeting him.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. COVID has really thrown a wrench into everything that's going on, except, we're going to the Super Bowl and I can't even, are you going to be there?
Probably not.
Oh, I'll tell my daughter she can, stay home if you want to be my guest.
I actually am doing an appearance down in Atlantic City, like a viewing party. Someone wanted me to come down to the Borgata to do something. So that's kind of like tied me up for Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, my daughter's safe then, I guess.
Well, at least it was nice to get back into the games. Did you go to the games this year?
Absolutely. Didn't miss one. I haven't missed a game, and I can't even tell you since I'm 8. So like 20 years.
All right. So that was nice, at least, to get back with the fans and the team.
Absolutely. There's nothing like it, and football this weekend was absolutely insane. That's what football's all about. I mean, even though my team wasn't there, it's just incredible. But
Liz, were you actively rooting against Buffalo?
Yeah.
Okay.
With everything in me. Yeah, they beat up on my boys a little bit too much, so I cannot root for them in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, I was completely against them.
I find it hard to root. I root against some people, and that's one of them. I like Josh Allen and Diggs and Beasley and these guys, but they're AFC East foes. You know what I mean? I'm glad that they overtook the Patriots, but it would be nice to see somebody new in the Super Bowl. Absolutely.
And I'm kind of happy that guy down with the Bucks, that quarterback, is not going to be in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Is that
not naming names, Brady. But so great to see you again. And I'm so excited to meet you again on February 6th. And I heard you were in Belleville, my old stomping grounds, and met up with a friend of mine from high school. I said to her, you met Wayne Chrebet and you talked about me? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Well, it's great to hear from you again.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Liz. All right, Tom, I know you have a question regarding something that's near and dear to Wayne's heart. Regarding, a certain path to the NFL. So take it away.
First, thank you. It's a pleasure meeting you today.
You too.
During your rookie year, I was doing sports radio in Keflavik, Iceland, up on the Navy base up there. And I got pelted with Jet jokes the entire year. But during the end, there was a tracker that we were kind of measuring your receptions towards breaking that rookie record. And I tell you, the last 4 weeks were really, really fun. Thank you for that. My question was, the path that you took to the NFL, getting there as an undrafted free agent, how is it different now than it was when you broke in? I mean, now we've got the branding of college football. Everybody's got social media and everything. Kind of walk us through what you did to kind of differentiate yourself to even get an invite to camp and things like that.
Now they're looking at these small schools and all over the country and the world for players, where back then it was like you got a lot of doors slammed in your face. But without social media, it's tough. I mean, people don't realize that I led the whole nation. I had 50 catches my senior year. 16 were touchdowns. I had 16 touchdowns. It's not like I was, I led one in one AA. It's not like I didn't have statistics.
And it's not like we had the internet where we could look it up.
Yeah, no one knew about it. So now though, it's social media. Somebody does well at some school, or there's highlights posted from all these different accounts of kids in high school, college, you name it. So there's just a better chance for them to be seen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because it's like I said, you can't get away with nothing these days. I don't know if I would have liked to playing and been a player with phones, the phone taking photos all over the place, because that's kind of dangerous. But it's different now. The path is different, because back then, if I came to the squad last year, I probably wouldn't have made the team, because there's no mini camps and there's no hitting in training camp. When we were in shorts and T-shirts, everybody's out there looking like Lynn Swan. But as soon as we put the pads on, guys were like, didn't want to catch, they didn't want to get hit. And that's what kind of like helped me separate from the other guys, was the fact that we were hitting in camp.
Yeah, that's awesome. One thing with the preseason. Everyone doesn't care. The casual fans don't care about shortening the preseason, but it's huge. Like, it's huge for players to make a difference with those 4 games.
And one less preseason game.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be 3.
Yeah.
All right. So one more question, and about the fantasy draft between you and Robbie. I love Herm Edwards. I loved him. I mean, I had signed autograph photos of him, but you selected him over Bill Parcells. I'm just curious if there's any kind of background information on that.
I kind of said it. It's like, I always wanted to play for Bill. I was a huge Giant fan, and I wanted to, Gatorade him and all that stuff, just growing up a Giants fan. And I don't know, when he came there, he's busted my chops, because we were both from New Jersey. He's like, I know about you, the great Wayne Chrebet. I know everything you do. I know the cops, the judges. He tells me, if you don't listen to me and pay attention, your career will go downhill faster than a dump truck with a cement parachute. That's what he says to me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, these guys. And the thing was, it was a square, our facility. So if you saw him coming and you couldn't turn back the other way, he'd look at you. If you look down or something like that, he'd be, hey, we'll get it. But if you smiled at him, he'd be like, what the F are you so happy about? It's like, I don't know how to be. I don't know how to be around you. But so I love he wasn't there very long, but with Herm, he came in towards the end of my career and kind of like let me do my thing to be healthy, taking, every third practice off, and like playing light in the preseason and just keeping the veterans fresh. And he knew that I had injury concerns, and he didn't want me getting hurt in preseason. He said, just stay in shape, do your pregame, put on your baseball hat and root for the young guys. So I just appreciated that. And he made the coaches go to coach. They put the veterans in first class in the plane, and he sat in the back with his wife right next to the bathroom back there. And and that's how he treated us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
It's always tricky with new coaches that come in, like the veterans who have already earned it want them to know that they've already earned it. And Herm recognized that,
Yeah. And with Herm too, it's like, in the dog days of summer, it's like, hey, I know how you feel. And you're like, yeah, he does. Because he did it. Mm-hmm. He knows what it feels like to be in training camp, the middle of training camp. And just, I don't know, it just means more coming from a guy that's been there and knows understands how how an athlete feels and thinks.
All right. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, guys.
Nicole, I think your question, if I remember correctly, I'm trying to look at it right now.
It nestles nicely with what Tom asked. So
yes, it does nice transition segue. Nicely. Nicole, go ahead. Do your thing.
Wayne, truly an honor to me. You've been my favorite Jet since I could, actually comprehend what a football game was. So this is pretty special. Kind of in the line of what Tom just asked. My question was, what does it mean to you to be such a huge part of Jets history, given where you started and then where you finished, and how you are such a core piece of Jets lore, and especially knowing now that this sort of situation was your idea and you're still connecting with Jets fans. What does all of that mean to you to know how important you are to this organization?
Oh, I mean, it's the best feeling in the world. Coming from where I came from, the depth chart and Hofstra and all that stuff, it's in the blink, it was 11 years. It's like crazy, but it means the world to me that you guys are even on this, and I, get cameos and I get fan mail, and, people wear my jerseys at the games. It lets me know I did it right. And I want to kind of like give back to the fans whenever I can. Because, I grew up a Giant and a Jet fan. It was like 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, Jet Giant or Giant Jet. We were on the couch watching the games, me and my family. And to play for the same organization for my whole career, 11 years, that meant a lot. Like when my contract came up, it was like, Woody's like, do you want to be here? I was like, yeah. I was like, do you want me here? He's like, yeah. I said what I wanted. He said what he wanted. We met in the middle. My contract was signed in like 2 days. I said, Woody, I'm not messing around. This is where I want to be. This is where the fans kind of took me in. And, I went to a couple home games, and, my kids, my little one, they count how many people have 80 jerseys on. And I mean, there's so many still. And like I'll walk by somebody with an 80 jersey and I'll be like, hey, nice jersey. And they look, they're like, do a double take. Like, what are you doing walking around in the tunnel? I'm like, I'm like you, man. I'm just here to see the game. But I don't know. The fans just took me in, said I was like every man. So you would see someone from coming out of a Mercedes to driving a Harley wearing my jersey, black, white, young, old. And that lets me know, like I said, I did it right, that people are still out there supporting me.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest phenomenons, right? That the number 80 jersey is still that popular. How many years later? It's like this area, the New York, New Jersey area, appreciates, lunch pail type guys like John Starks for the Knicks, for example. Same type of popularity in that vein. So yeah, you're right. Number 80 is still going strong around the stadium.
Oh yeah, it's the one that my mom wears every time. She doesn't go to games much anymore, but when my mom goes, it's always your jersey.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Got to get that number crazy. 3. Got to get that number 3 preseason jersey.
I have the number 3. It's just wild that they haven't given it to anybody. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but I'm honored that they haven't given it away. But not many people. I mean, see everybody with this jersey, guy gets traded. This guy signed somewhere else. And right. What do you do with the jersey? Mine was like, I stayed there. I never played for another team. So I guess I kind of kept it trendy because I see people with Jamal Adams jersey on. I mean, he's not even a Jet. This guy wasn't a Jet anymore. It's like, I don't know. I mean,
Elf too shows up in the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I guess my jersey is timeless. I mean, the young to the old,
It's a great way to describe it. It's absolutely timeless.
Will Ferrell inspired.
Yeah.
I think you showed up in a couple episodes of Law and Order SVU too. Right?
Did it really?
Yeah, they met jerseys. On King of Queens, they met to meet once. Kevin James is sitting on the couch and somebody says something and you hear in the background, Testaverde to Chrebet for the touchdown or something like that. That's just wild. That's wild. I mean, that's wild. I mean, not in my, biggest imagination did I think, I'd get 11 years and do what I did. And, the biggest thing for me is what I cared what people thought about me. And when I got into the Ring of Honor, that was validation that I was the kind of player that people told me I was. to get in there with some of those guys. There's only like 13 guys in it. That night, getting the ring, I was like, all right, I did it right. I played hard and I was appreciated.
And by the way, the Ring of Honor speech too, I think to me, it's not so much what people say when they accept it. It's the tone behind what they say. Yeah. And I think fans appreciated yours a lot.
I was so nervous. I had cue cards and everything like that. And I didn't want to talk long. I wanted to get to the point. And Mr. Hess, Leon Hess, got in. So his son spoke, but he spoke so long. So once I got up to the mic, I started talking and the guy's like, wrap it up. I'm like, I'm just starting. So I thanked everybody. Like the walk on the field was so nervous, but to know I was done and hear the cheers. So as soon as I was finished walking away from the microphone, that like 50-yard walk was the best. I walked as slow as possible to like take it all in. I wasn't nervous. I did it, got the ring. And then, and like I said, it validated my career.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thanks.
Matt, do your thing. Take it away.
All right. Thanks for having us on again, Wayne. Big fan.
Thank you.
I want to know prime Wayne Chrebet versus prime Darrelle Revis. 10 snaps, one-on-one. You get to pick your quarterback and the route that you run. How many catches do you have?
Versus Revis? Were you saying versus Revis?
Yep. Yeah, Revis.
Well, he's a great corner, but if he comes inside the slot, he's in trouble.
Ooh.
If I go outside to outside receiver, that's what his bread and butter is.
The era matters too. Like, are we playing today's rules or 90s?
Yeah. What defines a catch when we're having this mythical one-on-one battle?
Right. I'll go early 2000s. Again, you get to pick your quarterback.
Right.
You can go Chad or Vinny.
I go Vinny. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Vinny, like I said, if I'm outside, Revis used the sideline as a second defender, but in the slot, it's like, usually they would bracket me. They'd go high-low. And actually, Belichick would have the DN, like Willie McGinnis, actually stand in front of me and try to give me a jam and then play the run. Like, it was crazy some of the things he did. But inside the slot, if you were at the game when I played, I'm not trying to brag, and it was third down, who did you think was getting the ball?
Everybody knew.
They knew it too, and they couldn't stop it. It's like an art to it. And there's guys like Edelman and Amendola and Beasley and these Renfro. It's just an art to it, running these option routes and reading you got to be able to read the defense pre-snap and snap. So I would take myself in the slot versus anybody.
I like it. Yeah, it's in the slot. Out of 10 plays, though, how many receptions do you get out of those 10?
Well, good passes.
Good passes.
More than 50%. That's for sure.
All right, I'm going to tweet out that you said you're going to get 8 against Revis. Let's see if he responds.
I say in the slot. Like I said, there's a big difference. Outside, I don't know.
Sure. That's pretty fair.
I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
All right, Matt. Appreciate it. He's gonna go start trouble on Twitter now. Watch.
Yep.
Oh, don't forget to tag Revis too. Make sure you mention him.
Yeah, definitely bring him in there. Yeah.
I will.
Everybody wants to stir up stuff. Everybody has an opinion. Like I said, I want to brag, but like I said, if it was third down and 3, 7, 12, I felt like if I could get, Vinny was going to get the ball to me because he knew what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself that when I asked you who you thought was getting it, you guys all agreed that you knew it and the other team knew it. So,
like you said, it's a huge difference too, inside and outside.
How can you not, feel confident versus going against anybody in that situation?
Right. And it's tough one-on-one. And I mean, even Revis, one-on-one is incredibly tough, especially inside.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is the last person here, and then we'll kind of wrap it up with a group chat, I guess. Greg, you still with us, Greg?
I'm here.
All right. Take it away.
Wayne, a pleasure to meet you.
Is that my jersey back there?
That is your jersey hanging back there, my friend.
I see the number. I kind of see the name a little bit.
It
nice.
So that's been sitting there. It's funny. I got questioned today on a business call whether it was a Green Bay jersey or it was a Jet jersey. So because he didn't see the name, he just saw the number. But I'm going to take you a little bit down memory lane here, and I will say that I used to always go to training camp. I was there in '95 when you walked on the field. I was so amazed with you as just a player out there in an underdog role. I remember you going against, you had Stevie Anderson there, you had Cesar there, and you were not the big name. I'm 5'9", 5'9.5", 185 pounds. I never played organized ball. I was always told I was too small. Don't go, don't do it. I was graduated high school, 165 pounds. And I looked at you and I was always amazed. I know you had worked out and been a much bigger body with it, but just to give you the impression that you made on someone years ago, 27 years ago, I took that picture of you on the sidelines before you even made the team.
That's great.
And said, here's the kid that's catching everything out there. He's playing unbelievable. And that was just amazing to me to watch you play out there. And I said, unfortunately, he's my size. He's never going to make it when you had Stevie Anderson but they weren't catching the ball like you were. And they never had the fearlessness like you did. So to me, I still wear your jersey. I still have that. I have 3 kids. My first kid is now 20 years old in college. And prior to her birth, the first thing I bought was a Chrebet jersey. And I bought it actually at training camp at Hofstra when they used to have the tents up for stuff.
Right.
And I came home, and this was before I knew what I was having. And my mother-in-law says to me, what if it's a girl? I said, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a Jet fan no matter what it is. So
right.
I want to really thank you. It's such a pleasure to watch you. Obviously, in the way your stature was, I have a quick question to ask you with this. When you look at today's game, and I know it's changed a lot, my question is, I think over the course of your time, you had roughly about 6 different offensive coordinators that you worked with. When you see a guy like Denzel Mims and his physical talent and what he's got there, and I know all the Jet fans are asking what's going on with this guy, how difficult is it from that transition to go from one system to another and see why he's having such struggles?
I don't know. It's just his college game hasn't translated to the pro game. I don't know if it's, a function of the playbook. It's obviously a bigger playbook, in different positions. But I don't know. I don't know if they don't have faith in him or not. Like I said, he's a physical specimen. He's great at the 50-50 ball. For some reason, when guys got hurt, he was next in line, but he was not next in line to be a primary receiver. So I don't know what's going to happen with him. As far as myself with different offenses, yeah, when someone comes in, a lot of plays are different, not the same. Everybody steals from everybody in the NFL. Whatever works. Whatever somebody did the week before that worked against the team you're playing is happening. But with my coordinators, the same terminology, same kind of plays. So for me, I had no problem with it. But it's a big playbook. But I also played fullback and tight end, so I had to know their routes too, when I come in for those positions. So, having 6 different systems is tough. Some were better than others, but like I said, it kind of, when it comes down to it, it's all the same, but different words.
Right.
But he should be able to pick this up. He should be able to pick up this new offense. I mean, it's pretty spread out.
I think with Mims, the Big 12, that Big 12 transition is really tough. And he got off to a slow start with the, food poisoning he had in the spring. Yeah. So, he's still young, coming into his 3rd year. He has the talent. But yeah, it's a good point. You had a lot of offensive coordinators, Charlie Weiss, Hackett. And I know we talked on one of the podcasts when we started with Kotite, when you started, it was pretty much a 2-receiver offense. And then eventually it got into 11 personnel where you could play more slot, right?
I don't remember we didn't have we didn't have 4 receivers active. I mean, we never went more than 3 receivers, never spread it out. But that was old Ron Earhart from the Steelers.
Yes.
The 2 tight end. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was funny because I loved him and he took care of me and he took me in and he, gave me confidence. but we'd be watching, flicking on and off, rewind, play, rewind, and they watch the same play, slow motion over and over. And then they'd go like 2, 3 plays, 4 plays. He needed to stop it. And he's over there just sleeping with his hand out on the button. Now he's like 70 years old, but I loved him. Yeah. I don't know ever, I haven't spoken to him since that rookie year, but he gave me confidence, and it definitely helped. But that was, some of the stories that I remember about Ron.
All right, Greg, thank you. Any other questions?
I've got one. And I know Wayne, you've played in a ton of really memorable games, but one that I just cannot just get out of my head. It was the flashlight game down in Tampa. I mean, what were your thoughts going through your head when Curtis Martin threw that TD to you to win it in the last minute of the game?
I thought it was the ugliest pass I've ever seen. I was like, is this thing going to come down? Like, it was so wobbly, and I'm like, all right. So I jumped a little early, though, because I thought it was going to come down. I was just fluttering. So I kind of caught it on the way down. But people know the story. He calls, all day I was coming in cracking the guy. And I faked the crack and go out. And Curtis hears it, and he starts taking off his glove in the huddle. So he's in the backfield, and he takes the last finger off, and he just drops it on the ground. Like, how did they not know he's throwing it?
Right.
I came in there, took off, and I caught it, and it was just like perfect. It was poetic justice. It was a big win for us. It's one of, like, people say that's one of their favorite games that involves me. Obviously, we won, but it was Definitely. Nice to land on top.
I have a question. My favorite game of all time had to be October 10th, 2004. It was the you and Chad game. That's when you caught eight passes, everyone thrown to you. That ranks as my top game. How about you? What's your top game playing?
Obviously the Monday Night Miracle.
Oh, heck yeah.
Just the way it turned out, people leaving and coming back in, and then, going back, and we finally, get back to tie it up. Then they score, we score. And it was just, the game went on to like 1 a.m. But we went from not being able to do anything right to not be, do anything wrong. And I don't know. It was meant to be that night. The fans were great. If they didn't stay, I don't blame them, but they missed a hell of a game. So, obviously the Green Bay game, we were not making the playoffs.
Oh, yes.
And then we saw this team lost, this team won. So if we won, we'd actually win the East. And after we heard that, the fans letting us know, that we had a chance. I mean, we beat them by 40. And they were playing for home field, so it's not like they weren't playing for anything.
Easy.
And I think I had 2 touchdowns in that game. And definitely one of my most memorable games.
The sound when Giant Stadium realized that New England beat Miami was incredible. It was one of the loudest I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was a great day. We kind of band together, and 52 guys arm in arm. Like I said, they couldn't stop us at that point.
Yeah, and it's funny that that 2000 team had a lot of comebacks early in the season. 99, you guys started 1-7, came back. 2002, you came back, played to win the game. So those teams really fought and battled, even if you got into a hole early. So it shows a lot of character.
Yeah, there was, like you said, there's just a mix of the young guys that we had on the team and Bill's guys. If you were one of Bill's guys, he brought you from team to team. Yeah. His old Giant players. And like I said, Jumbo catching that pass, he caught it 3 times, actually, I think, with those those hamburger helper mitts. Yeah. He had those, that's his gloves. They were like big mitts. But we bust him about it. And if you ever see the video where he's looking up and his eyes are open and bright at the big screen, he looks just like Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. And but that was great. It was a great night, and definitely one of my favorites.
So Wayne,
Monday Night Miracle is why I will never. I've never left a Jets game. I will never leave a Jets game before the fourth. It's all zeros for that exact reason.
Yeah,
I think I was 8. I was at that game. I haven't left the game early since.
You just never know.
I feel old.
Hey, I have the gray hair.
Talk about it.
So Wayne, I'll tie back a story, the Monday night story. I was at that game as well. And obviously everybody started leaving in the first half of it. We ended up going down into the bar. And if I remember correctly, I think Rand Carthan was working in operations at the time. And the guys that I was with had a connection there. And we ended up going down into the bar. And in the bar at that time, in the bar restaurant in the old Meadowlands, is Kevin James was actually at that game. I actually met him at the game, and that's when his show had just started. My wife was watching it, and the only reason I paid attention to it was that he had a jet blanket on his couch, and it's the only reason I paid attention to it. But I met him that night, and it was a crazy night. That was one of the most unbelievable games, but we totally there, the whole game and stuff. And we actually got into the parking lot and met with some of the players. We were actually in the team parking lot, and it was just amazing to see the guys, how you guys did that night. It was the
Arnold Schwarzenegger game too. He comes on at halftime or in the third quarter. He said the Jets are going to win the game. Wayne Chrebet, whatever he says is gonna lead them back, which is hysterical. That he actually knew my name. He didn't know how to pronounce it.
I haven't thought about that in years.
Yeah.
I seen the clip online. I said, that is hysterical. This the Terminator knows my name. And like I said, he butchered it, but it's the fact that that was his way of thinking. It's hysterical.
Yeah. Dennis Miller calling the game too. That kind of puts a twist on it as well.
Yeah, he stirred some stuff up, but
he was a fan of you by the end of the game. That's for sure. We could all hear that. All right. Anyone else have any other final questions before we wrap it up?
I got one.
Yep.
All right, go for it.
If this is somehow something you don't want to elaborate on, that's totally fine. But I know shortly after you wrapped up your playing days, I read a little bit about you struggling with some migraine stuff and some TBI things after your career. And I just kind of want to check in and see if that's gotten better, how that's going for you. Like if I'm hoping that's going better for you and you're not suffering too bad from that stuff anymore.
Good days and bad days. Today's a good day. It's just my cognitive thinking is not great. My balance is not great. Like I can't ride a bike or anything like that. I just got no balance anymore. I struggle on stairs, but I do take a lot of medication to help me with the headaches and, kind of like stay focused because I kind of lose track sometimes, but it is what it is. The damage is done. I can't erase it or go back and eliminate it. But I used to say, right away, would you have done things differently? I joke, I would have went out of bounds or like dove with their ankles of the defender like they do these days. They catch the ball and they dive with the defender's legs.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't have played different. It sucks. It sucks the way I feel some days. And right after I retired, I spent like this next 6 months in my basement, windowless room, just the noise. I had a big young baby, the noise and the light, and it was tough. And then after, it was like a year later, and my wife's like, she's like, it's time to kind of re-enter the world. So, I actually went, got my Series 7. I was a financial advisor for 10 years. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the CTE. Hopefully, it doesn't come till later in my life affecting me. But like I said, good days, bad days.
Glad to hear it's not all bad days. And I hope it either somehow you can continue managing it. I care about that stuff. I'm military. So I, see people who struggle with it a lot with, not being able to function the way they used to. And, it sucks seeing people you care about, people you grew up idolizing, dealing with that. So I hope it continues to get better or at least not get worse for you.
Thanks. No, it is what it is. I don't know what else to say about it. I wouldn't, if I really think about it, I couldn't change anything. The fans wouldn't appreciate me the same way. My career wouldn't end up the same way. My life wouldn't end up the same way. And I wouldn't be on this call right now. My life would be completely different if I played differently.
That's fair.
Yeah, we did a podcast. Was it last spring? Maybe We got into some of the details with this stuff, and I don't want to speak for Wayne, but I think Wayne likes talking about it at times to raise awareness.
Yeah. Nothing specifically on the record, because, I didn't join the NFL concussion lawsuit because I felt the NFL didn't owe me anything. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame people who have, but one of the questions I thought a two-parter was like, what was the worst, moments in my career? And definitely the last play was the worst, and losing some of the games. But that was the worst because I didn't know what happened. Like when I hit the back of my head on the ground, like if you took two rocks and smashed them together, it makes like a white spark. And that's what I saw, just white. I could hear people, but I couldn't see. And I just woke up the next day and I said to my wife, I was like, what happened? And she showed me the clip and I was like, what's that mean? She's like, you're done. I was like, I said, do I have a choice? And they're like, no. So
yeah, the finality of it.
And then someone asked me if I thought about hanging it up earlier in my career. Mm-hmm. After my 9th year, we lost out in Pittsburgh. And, I was going to retire because I had gotten another concussion. And at that point, I had 12 documented concussions. And back then, I got some in consecutive weeks, which they said they don't compound, which is bullshit. Because the second week, 3 times, it's like, it didn't take much. I just got clipped. My chin clipped or my neck snapped. And it took a long time to recover from those multiple ones. But so after year 9, and then I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, I'm going to go back. And going back, like the grass was so much greener. The sky was so much bluer. Like I appreciated more. I never took anything for granted. So those last 2 years were amazing for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As all fans, right. You don't know how much you mean to us by giving it all you had. And it's, we hurt with you because we are such huge fans of you.
Thank
that
you.
We just want nothing but the best and be well and feel better every day.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hope you guys are all staying safe and well. Yeah. Crazy times.
Doing our best, definitely.
Let's
Nicole, what branch of the military are we in?
I'm in the Army.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for your service, Nicole.
Yes, thank you, Nicole.
Robbie, I love my job, so no thanks needed, but thank you all the same.
Wayne, I got one question to ask you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
As far as people you played with, who do you, aside from yourself, obviously most talented wide receiver you played with, and then who that you played with on the Jets was the most talented football player that you played with?
Well, Curtis Martin's most talented. I mean, Hall of Fame guy, played hurt, never complained. And it's crazy. The year he won the rushing title, he didn't have one run over 20 yards. That meant he just grounded out for the whole season. No big runs, no 60, to raise the average. And just a great guy, very religious, but didn't push it on you. But before the coach would come in, he'd yell shower group. So anybody who wanted to pray would go in the shower, to kind of get away from everybody and grab hands. And the way he prayed and spoke, everything was this Father God and this Father God. And this, I mean, you get chills. You want to go out there and just, kill somebody. It was the way he motivated you, on and off the field was something special. But as far as, people ask me who I hang out with, like I'm actually going to Jacksonville tomorrow to see Lavernius.
That would be my one. I always think he was so underrated in his, I think he would be a stud in today's game.
Yeah, I would say he's the most talented receiver because I played with him, in that Monday night game, that touchdown he took away from Sam Addison, that was his first career touchdown.
Yeah. Right.
That kind of started it. But LC's my guy. I'm going to actually see him. Then he's coming back up to see me the week after. But I don't know. We just kind of hit it off. different kind of guys, but he had such a chip on his shoulder when he came into camp, not getting drafted. He had some legal stuff.
Right.
And I just loved it. And he took a liking to me, and we've been close ever since.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's really cool.
All right, Wayne, let's wrap it up. Let's put you on the spot. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I don't want anybody to win the Super Bowl.
No,
I'll root for the Rams because Matt Stafford deserves it from all those bad years in Detroit.
Yes, he does.
Showing what he can do, and Mahomes won it already. I can't remember who's in all of it, but just watching Stafford, and he went through. Did he go through a winless season?
Yeah, he was on that team. Yeah.
So he deserves a little love.
All right. Anyone else with a Super Bowl opinion out there?
Bengals Niners. That way, the Bengals had the number 1 pick last year. The Niners are the blueprint that the Jets are following. So, I think both bode well.
And that's an old school matchup too. That's a 1988 matchup.
I would love that.
Yeah, why can't Zach progress like Burrow and get a big receiver in there like Jamar Chase? I mean, we got a good running back. I mean, there's no reason they can't take the next step next year.
The blueprint is there. It's literally the blueprint that Cincinnati just did the last couple of years.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
I think Joe Douglas did a great job. You got Zach and Elijah. You got both Michael Carter's offense, defense. You got Vera Tucker blocking. And then a number of other young guys kind of contributed. That's a great draft. And with the trade, we got 2 picks in the top 10. You could get high impact, first day starters in that draft. So I don't know. It could turn around quickly.
The question is, where do they draft a receiver? You see all these guys in the playoffs. Kupp was a 3rd rounder. Diggs was a 5th round. You can get receivers everywhere. So Jets fans are wondering whether or not Joe Douglas will draft a receiver, in that first round.
I think if they resign Barrios has a lot to do with it. I don't know if he comes in the starter, but he should be. So we'll see. We definitely need some help on the O-line. Yeah, but remember, we played the whole year without Becton.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's a big loss not having him. Things would have been differently as far as Zach running for his life back there. So I don't know who they're going to pick, but I trust that he's going to get the right player.
Yeah, tight end too.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for attending. We appreciate you being with us. And for those listening or watching on YouTube, listening on iTunes, Spotify, we're going to do this as often as we can. Rough draft right now is once a month. Maybe we'll extend it out a little further. Depends on all the inquiries. There were more inquiries that we couldn't squeeze in for this time. But go to jetsxfactor.com and search for the Underdog Jets podcast page in the menu item under podcasts. It'll be in the links in the description of YouTube and iTunes and all that stuff too. And apply, become a subscriber, use the discount code 80 to get a significant discount. And what is it, Wayne? One of 4 different options for the 8x11s signed by you?
8x10. Yeah, I got a bunch of 8x10s, and I'm like, if it's part of the package, I'll just give autographed ones to subscribers. So even if you didn't know that before you subscribe, just give the information to Robbie. And if you look online, I have 4 pictures to pick from in case you had one or you'd like an older uniform or a new uniform. So you guys pick one out and we'll get it out to you.
Yeah, definitely shoot me an email. When you click the link in the description, all the info will be right there. So definitely do that, whether you're on iTunes or YouTube or Spotify, Google, wherever. And it'll lead you to where you need to go. Discount 80 at jetsxfactor.com.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for coming out and joining us tonight.
Thanks, Wayne. Thanks, Robbie.
Thank you. Stay healthy.
Take care, everybody.